Hey guys, another episode of Driving at Home with the Professor. Been a little under the weather the last couple days, so I haven't been able to get this one out. Received a question on my Facebook about a couple issues from a friend of mine. Used to train with us years ago, now trains at LA Boxing in Cherry Hill. He is a white belt, 43 years old, and he's looking to compete. And he wanted some advice from the professor, I guess, about what I thought about competition, doing the age group, the different tournament formats, certain rule sets, and so forth and so on. So this is for Peter Lingesso, posted this question. Should he compete? Well, I think, that's really up to him and his coaches, and if they feel like he's ready. And hopefully, if they do feel like he's ready, they have a culture over there that would support him in reaching that goal of being a winner in competition. So first and foremost, if I were you, Pete, I'd talk to my coaches and and see, hey, do you think I'm ready to compete? So another part of the question was, should he do the old man's division? And I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, and he's 43, and of course, yes, he should do the 43, age appropriate, especially since this is more than likely his first grappling tournament that he's going to be doing. So I think it's a smart move for him to do. What tournament? And I don't know if this is one of the questions, but I'll throw this out there. What tournament would I recommend he does? I think he should do something small first. Something that kind of, if you've never competed before or competed in submission wrestling or jiu-jitsu, something like the AGL, which is done locally here in South Jersey, is a really good one. The format's a little odd and whatever, but it's still a good way to get some competition experience. So I would recommend doing a smaller tournament, just so something that's local. You don't have to drive very far. And we've been pretty lucky lately to have some tournaments close by to where we are in South Jersey. So Pete also goes on to ask what I thought of the different tournaments, like the Grappler's Quest as compared to the IBJJF, as compared to this and compared to that. And they all have their good points and their bad points. I'm friends with Brian Simmons, and I think he runs a good show. I think he's a very conscientious promoter of his tournament, and he really wants to give the competitor a good experience. The only downside is that we don't get a lot of Grappler's Quest tournaments local to Philadelphia. When I say local, maybe within a half hour to 45 minutes. Usually, we're driving an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to that tournament. It's not a big deal, but it would be great if we can get some more Grappler's Quest down here. They're back. Seems like they're back in full swing. Doing one in Europe and all this other stuff. So the Nagas, not a big fan. We've done a couple Nagas. We've had a bad experience at a couple of them. If they're super close, we'll do them as a school, just because guys want to compete. So if it's they had one in Philadelphia, we did it. But honestly, I really never felt like the rule set or the attention to detail was there. Unlike Brian Simmons, I don't think the people at NAGA really care about the customer experience. At least that's my experience, is my opinion. Anyway, so not a big fan of NAGA, but a lot of people seem to enjoy it, have fun at it, and go do it. They get a lot of people for sure, but you could tell it's a different crowd than you would get at a Grappler's Quest or at say a CBJJF or IBJJF tournament. Some of the tournaments locally that I think are really well run, or somewhat locally, and I'm pretty happy to be saying is, I think the Good Fight has turned into a well-run tournament, well refereed. Again, all of them have their good spots and their good points and their down points or low points. But I think the Good Fight is another good option, and they do a nice job of doing some of these tournaments local. And the promoter is a local South Jersey guy, so it makes sense for him to do some tournaments locally. But I think the best tournament that I've been to in a very, very long time was the New York Open. run by the IBJJF. I just think that they did a stellar job. Talked to a friend of mine that's a referee for them, and I hadn't done an IBJJF tournament as a school in a long time because of bad experiences, and I asked him what it was like, and his exact words were, they went from being the worst tournament to the best tournament. And I completely agree. I thought it was well run. They've added some new features to the tournaments that they have, where you'll know exactly what time your matches are, and that's really great as a competitor, because then you know if you need time to rest, you need time to eat, you need time to hydrate, you have all that stuff going on. So if you have the ability to do an IBJJF tournament, especially if you're a gi competitor, it's very, very well run. I know the no gi Pan Ams are coming up in September. So that leads me into the last part of Pete's question of, what do I think about the different tournaments that have, knee bars, foot locks, heel hooks, and all this other stuff, and should they be allowed at certain levels and not allowed? And I just say, look, if you're not comfortable with heel hooks, foot locks, and knee bars, then make sure you read the rules. Excuse me. And you don't do tournaments that have them. How do I feel personally? With the exception of the heel hook, I'm fine with the knee bars and the toe holds. Maybe not at the novice or beginner level, but intermediate, starting at intermediate, just for the safety of the competitor, because a lot of schools don't do too good of a job of covering how to defend or even what knee bars are and that kind of thing. But ultimately it's the coaches and the competitors' responsibility to understand what the rules are, but also prepare the competitor for those rule sets. And if there's techniques that are allowed that you don't typically train, then you need to fold that into your training. So I know in the I keep saying CB, but the IBJJF, which is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, you're not allowed to do like knee bars and toe holds till brown and black, and I'm fine with that as well. As long as I know the rules ahead of time, I prepare for the rules, so it doesn't quite matter. The only thing I would ever be leery of is the heel hooks in anything but an advanced division, just because of the damage that can happen to a knee. And if you're in an advanced grappling division, you probably you understand what's going on, and a heel hook's not that big of a deal, and hopefully you're tapping soon enough. But I know the IBJJF doesn't allow heel hooks at any part of their tournament, and that's how they feel about it, and that's great. But so there was my answer to Pete. Hopefully it gave him a little bit of insight. I don't really care too much about what the rules are, as long as we could prepare for them. I've never pulled anybody from a tournament because I didn't like the rules or I didn't like the techniques. All we did was we prepared for that rule set. But I will recommend this: if your ultimate goal down the line is to be Pan Am, your age division champion, then you should be doing tournaments that strictly adhere to the IBJJF rules and scoring format. This way that you're ready to do that. If you're not really too worried about one kind of ultimate goal of a tournament that you want to win, then I would recommend doing them all. Like I said, I highly recommend doing the AGL, which is local, just to get your feet wet, and then going to the Good Fight. US Grappling's another good one. Grappler's Quest. Not a big fan of NAGA, and obviously the IBJJF. You had asked about a couple others that I wasn't familiar with, but those are the ones that I am familiar with. So Pete, hopefully I answered your question. I'm driving home in the rain now, but I want to thank you for your question. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post it on my Facebook timeline. You could ask me a question here on YouTube, right here in the comments section, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. I'll answer them as honestly as I can, and hopefully see you guys on the mats sometime soon. You could check me out at njmaonline.com, Twitter, Team NJMA, and on Facebook, Marco.Perazzo. I think I'm going to try and consolidate everything and just say, hey, this is it all, NJMA or whatever. But this way you don't have to have 3 different things to try and contact me. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.